Welcome to Sports Talk with King Vaughn. Today is Wednesday, so there's no real information in football to tell you about that happened yesterday. Football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays are pretty dead. It's miserable, really. But there is a couple of things we can talk about. QB injuries. There are 6 major QB injuries that may affect this week's performance that are new. Could you still have Deshaun Watson and Daniel Jones fighting their injuries and AR-12? So don't start any of them because there's a lot. But the 6 new ones are Ryan Tannehill. He has a high ankle sprain, but it's probably better that he's hurt. He is really bad, and I'm tired of watching him play. Justin Fields, he's probably not going to play either. It's probably going to be Baguette playing. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is technically hurt right now. I expect him to play this weekend, but he is on the injury report right now. Baker Mayfield with his thumb. It's a toss-up for me right now. He may play Sunday, he may not. If he does, he's not going to play good enough to start him. So find a different quarterback in your league. Jimmy G, he's hurt. He may not play. He's back in concussion protocol. But he's not good enough to start in your league even when he is healthy. So please find another quarterback. And then lastly, Josh Allen had a shoulder injury in the second quarter of his game. But I do believe for him to be back this week. He played through the whole game last week. But there's still some questions if he's going to be to his top performance. Because he put up one of his worst statistical stat games last week versus the Giants. In college football news, Liberty is still undefeated. They beat Middle Tennessee State. They're the worst undefeated team I've ever seen. Their best win is versus a 3-5 New Mexico State team. They're just beating up on these USA Conference teams. It's the lowest conference in the FBS. That's why this undefeated team is still not even ranked. At least the Air Force and James Madison are ranked. Liberty is not. Let's talk about some hockey though. Our Carolina Hurricanes came back from behind to beat the Sharks last night. Momentum is a real thing in hockey. You could see it. It was like 30-10 in shots, and we almost lost that game. We were down 3-2 at the start of the third. We scored 4 unanswered goals in the third period. We gave up way too many penalties though. If we even expect to get close to winning the Stanley Cup this year, we cannot give up that many penalties. Because if you give that many penalties, you make a game versus any team close. That was the San Jose Sharks. They're one of the worst teams in the league. They have the second worst odds to win the whole thing. And we barely beat them. I know hockey is really any given night. But still, we should be able to lift ourselves past these bad teams pretty handily. But it just wasn't the case. Seth Jarvis had 2 goals. He needs this. I think he could break out if everything goes right with his Aho injury. Stephen Nason scored his first of the year. Stephen Nason needed that. He's looked sluggish at the start of this year. But since he got a goal, I think he could really turn it around. Okay, but let's talk about playoff baseball right now. The Phillies beat the Diamondbacks 10-0 last night in one of the worst playoff victories margins of all time. I don't know how anyone's gonna beat the Phillies. They are looking really good. The only way a team beats the Phillies is because the Phillies don't know how to base hit, really. Looking at their score, they only hit home runs. So if a team can limit their home runs, they can beat the Phillies. The Diamondbacks haven't been doing that though. The Diamondbacks only have two good pitchers, and they just went down 0-2 in this series. I don't see a possible way for the Diamondbacks to come back and win this. It's either they're either gonna storm back and win the next three, or they're gonna come back down 3-0. And it would be so funny if they came back down 3-0 to beat the Phillies. Astros versus Rangers plays tonight. The Astros need a win desperately. The Astros are down 2-0 in Arlington now. But Max Scherzer is playing, and I think they're going to light him up. I think it's not going to be close. He shouldn't be starting. He's not probably healthy enough to start. He should probably relief, but they're not doing that because Scherzer's ego is too big. And because of his ego, they're going to lose. Thank you for watching Sports Talk with King Von.